Hey there, thanks for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. I thought maybe I'd start a little series about reviewing each episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
What are you in for? What are you in for?
I found something buried in the woods.
Dad.
This is unacceptable. Do you understand?
What do you think it is? Don't touch anything.
What did you do?
We're lost. Really lost.
Stay together. We just need some directions home.
Come on, kid. Pay up. Whoa.
Where'd you two find an old Republic credit?
Over here, quick. I'll get you home. We'll make a partnership. But we have to move fast. I need you to take the controls.
Okay.
Neil? Neil?
A crew of murderous pirates is coming.
Something's wrong.
They're not going to just turn up. We need to find them.
We're not alone down here.
Be warned of booby traps. Pirates and mountains where none dare to go.
If you hear this, don't give up. No matter what.
Now, I watched episode 1 yesterday. Of course, regular viewers to this channel might remember that last week on not Lego Friday but Lego Saturday, I built this, which is the Lego Onyx Cinder. And now the first couple of episodes of Skeleton Crew are out. So we're finally able to actually see this ship in action, although I've only seen episode 1, so I've only seen bits of it so far. So I thought maybe we could have a go through the series as it evolves. So episode 1, we follow a number of children on a very suburban planet, a very unusual planet for Star Wars. So, you know, we've seen Coruscant, which is a city planet. We've seen Endor, Tatooine. We've seen other planets which are kind of less developed. This, I think, is the first time we've seen like a proper urban environment for a planet with sort of streets and houses. And it looks very much like some of the sort of suburbs you might get in the UK or the US, especially as they drive on the left-hand side of the road. Did notice that. Thank you very much. It's the correct side of the road. Been doing it for 2,000 years. Anyway, so we follow some characters. The planet that we're on is called Atin. Now, I'm not super up to date with my Star Wars lore these days. I was more of a Legends person. I've got a whole bookcase of Legends stuff over there. And then, of course, that got wiped out from canon overnight. And so I don't know if we've seen Atin before. If we have, I apologise, but it's new to me. Anyway, we follow this character. This is Wim. Excuse me while it's not going to work because it's trying to focus on me, of course. This is Wim. Basically, he is a human boy. He goes to school. He plays with action figures. He plays Jedi and Sith action figures. And essentially, I'm kind of getting like an E.T. type vibe, Stranger Things type vibe from this. They're trying to sort of set this up as if it's like a nostalgic sort of children's, 1980s era kind of thing. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I mean, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi are from that era, but it was kind of like the way that it was shot, it kind of feels a lot like like, you know, I don't know, something like Flight of the Navigator or something like that, or something from the 80s where there's a bunch of kooky kids getting into some scrapes, you know. And it was just interesting to see a different type of planet for Star Wars. I imagine quite a lot of the planets look like that. Anyway, Wim goes to school, which is manned by droids, droided, not as opposed to manned. I am wondering, and I'm probably going to throw a clip in here that I recorded on my phone, so I'm sorry about the quality.
Shooting error-prone ledger entries with free-floating variable tables in which a series of matrices are organized by a labeling algorithm.
But the teacher robot, I'm sorry, that's a Smash robot. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in the 1970s, their Smash, which is mashed potato that's in powdered form that you mix with hot water and mash. They had the adverts had robots who talked a bit like this, a little bit like Daleks, but they had kind of they were like yellow and blue and had kind of like UFO shaped heads. This teacher robot, I'm sorry, that's a Smash robot, and I'm surprised the advertising agency aren't suing the hell out of Disney. Or it's a Smash robot, I'm telling you.
On your last trip, did you discover what the Earth people eat? They eat a great many of these. They peel them with their metal knives, boil them for 20 of their minutes. Then they smash them all to bits. They are clearly a most primitive people.
For mash, get smash.
Anyway, so we have Wim, we have his best friend, who is Neil, who is a sort of elephant type person with some very cute hair. And they like to play Sith and Jedi, and this is their thing. And Wim essentially has these flights of fancy where he reads, like, effectively what's a Star Wars version of an iPad, like a story pad, and he kind of he likes to look at stories about Jedis and Jedi temples and that kind of thing. And essentially the opening sort of episode is kind of obviously setting up the characters. We have this lady called Fern, a young girl. She basically rides around on a souped up speeder bike with her other friend KB, who appears to have, I've got her wrong face on, she's not like, this eye isn't like, she's got this sort of like cybernetic kind of attachment to her where essentially, there you go, hopefully you can see that. But she's not like Loba, that thing's not attached permanently, but I think it lets her sort of look at stuff. Sorry, my camera's lost track on me. I'm over here. There we go. So yeah, so we've got Wim, Neil, Fern and KB. They are like the four kind of child characters. And essentially they discover what turns out, and the spoilers by the way, what turns out to be a crashed spaceship which has been buried under the planet. What I particularly liked, and of course that spaceship is of course this, the Onyx Cinder. And what I did particularly like was that when they are exploring the spaceship, it's actually upside down, and they kind of go in, there's like a hatch about here on the ship, and they clamber around inside and they start the thing up because the hatch locks on them and they try and get out. And there's a fantastic, amazing scene where this ship's kind of taking off because these thrusters can sort of rotate. It's kind of, it's sort of taking off, and they're sort of scrabbling to get inside. Really, really well done. And Wim's dad is like, you know, watching all of this. And I just thought that was a really good scene. One thing I've missed out, of course, there's an opening scene where some pirates are attacking a freighter, and there's a masked kind of chief pirate guy, and he's kind of promised them all these credits and tons of money, and they open the hold, having, you know, lost lots of their guys and killed lots of opposing people defending the ship. There's one credit on board. So I don't quite know where that story's going. Is that a setup? You know, were they set up? What's going to happen with those pirates? But there's one character we haven't really met yet, and that's Jod, who is this guy. Now, I don't know for sure, because I haven't seen episode 2, and no doubt all you people are screaming at the screen. I think he's probably the masked pirate. This is probably him without his mask. And I don't know how he gets involved yet, because essentially what happens in the story is the kids get aboard this unknown ship, and there's a droid on board as well that they've just woken up, and it goes off into hyperspace. And they're that's the end of episode 1. So that's as far as I've got so far. It's an interesting approach to Star Wars. Kind of a bit like, like I say, a bit like those sort of 80s flicks like The Goonies or something like that, There's one, they're playing heavily on Star Wars nostalgia. So there's one scene where the pirate guy is interrogating the captain of the ship they've just captured. And it's a beat for beat copy, not in the words, but just in the beat, just in the subtext of, where's the treasure that you've got? We don't have any treasure. This is a so-and-so ship. If this is a so-and-so ship, then why is your vault sealed like this? And it was a bit unnecessary, if I'm honest with you. But basically a beat for beat kind of copy of Darth Vader talking with Captain Antilles in episode 4 Star Wars, when he's trying to find the plans of the Death Star on board the Tantive 4, and that was a beat for beat kind of copy of that. And but like I say, interesting to kind of see Star Wars from a different planet's perspective, a heavily populated and kind of almost like a 21st century kind of planet, albeit with better tech. But yeah, I've still got an open mind on the series. I quite liked it. I didn't find the episode offensive in any way. I thought it was quite good. So I will probably be looking at episode 2 tonight and doing maybe an immediate reaction to that. So hold on for that. So anyway, for what it's worth, those are my thoughts. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Total Ramblings. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that kind of stuff. And hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.